Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I used to pour my heart and soul into coding. My passion wasn't just about making apps. It was about creating connections, building something meaningful. That's how I came up with EchoLink, a revolutionary, privacy-focused communication platform that I genuinely believed could change how people interacted online. I'd spent countless nights perfecting the concept, the UI, even drafting a basic prototype. I trusted Leo. He was my mentor, a veteran in the mobile app development scene who ran a small agency, Veridian Apps. I pitched EchoLink to him, dreaming of a partnership, a 50-50 split as we'd informally discussed. He seemed enthusiastic, promising to bring his business acumen to my technical brilliance. We worked together for months, building out the initial framework, me doing the lion's share of the development, him handling the preliminary business legwork. Then the rug was pulled out from under me. One cold morning, Leo called me into his office. He handed me a check, a paltry sum that barely covered my basic living expenses for the past few months, and a termination letter. He claimed EchoLink was work for hire, developed under Veridian Apps auspices, and that my contribution was compensated in full. My name was nowhere on the company's new filings, my equity gone, my dreams stolen. He launched EchoLink a month later, and within a year, it was clear he had a hit on his hands. I was devastated, enraged. I felt like my future had been snatched away. I immediately consulted with a fantastic lawyer, Sarah Jin. She laid out my options: sue immediately for intellectual property infringement and breach of contract, or wait. She explained that our state had a 7-year statute of limitations for such cases, and critically, the law allowed for substantial compounded interest, around 10% above the prime rate, on any damages awarded, accruing daily from the date of infringement. The value of EchoLink at that moment, while significant to me, was a fraction of what it could become. Suing then would have been a quick win, but a smaller one. That's when the idea for true revenge crystallized. I didn't want a quick win. I wanted him to suffer for his greed, to truly feel the impact of what he'd stolen. I told Sarah my plan. We'd wait. We would meticulously document every single piece of evidence: my original designs, our initial communications, Leo's own emails promising partnership, the rapid growth and valuation of EchoLink. I needed to know that my creation was thriving, that the prize was growing, and that Leo's arrogance would be his undoing. For nearly 7 years, I watched. EchoLink became a household name, Veridian Apps grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, and Leo paraded around as the visionary founder. Every success of his felt like a knife in my gut, but I channeled that pain into patience. I collected news articles, financial reports, everything that showed the immense value EchoLink had accumulated. I knew he probably thought I'd given up, that I was just another hopeful developer he'd chewed up and spat out. Then, 6 years and 11 months after he stole my app, I walked back into Sarah's office. She remembered me, and her eyes lit up as I presented years of compiled evidence. The damages we were now calculating, with EchoLink's current valuation and the monstrous compounding interest, were staggering. It wasn't just about my initial equity anymore. It was about years of lost royalties, licensing fees, and the true market value of what he had stolen. We filed the lawsuit: breach of contract, intellectual property theft, unjust enrichment. Leo's initial reaction was pure, unadulterated fury. He called me ranting, accusing me of extortion, threatening to bury me in legal fees. He hurled insults, bragged about his wealth and connections. It was a classic Leo tantrum. I, however, had anticipated this. My phone was recording the entire conversation. In court, Leo's defense crumbled. Sarah presented my initial designs, the time-stamped prototypes, the emails where Leo clearly discussed a partnership, not work for hire. Then, she played the recording of his abusive phone call. The judge's expression hardened immediately. It painted a vivid picture of a man who believed he was above consequences, a man whose arrogance had led him to commit fraud and theft. The judgment was swift and devastating for Leo. The court ruled overwhelmingly in my favor, awarding me a sum that exceeded $3 million, a combination of my original equity value, lost profits, and years of crippling compound interest. Beyond the financial award, The judge also ordered a full investigation into Veridian App's corporate practices, citing concerns about ethical conduct and potential predatory business models. Leo had to liquidate a significant portion of his personal assets and sell off a controlling stake in Veridian Apps to cover the judgment and legal fees. The scandal utterly obliterated his reputation in the tech industry. His name, once synonymous with success, became a cautionary tale. Veridian Apps, once a rising star, staggered under the weight of the investigation and the loss of its visionary founder. He was effectively exiled from the company he'd built on my dream. I used a portion of my award to found my own legitimate startup, this time with ironclad legal protections. The rest I invested wisely. I got my dream back, and I watched Leo lose everything he'd gained through deceit. Justice, sometimes, just needs to age like a fine, potent wine. It was a long, arduous wait, filled with anger and doubt, but seeing Leo pay for his greed was the most satisfying feeling of my life. He learned that some debts, especially those of betrayal, accrue interest far beyond simple money.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.